Hi everybody, I'm Tony Gaglione.
I'm Shawn Adams,
This
and
is
this is Smacktalk. Today in segment 1, we're going to talk about the weekend preview. A lot of exciting things are happening this weekend. We want to touch base on them. First thing, the Major League Baseball, the pennant races are finalized now. Earlier today, we just got done watching the Oakland A's get a whooping by Justin Verlander, who now has 30 scoreless innings versus one team, which is the Major League Baseball record. He shut him out. It was a 3-0 game. He pitched 8 scoreless innings. I think it was only 2 hits. 1 walk was his stat line.
It was 1 hit, 1 walk. Yeah. The one hit was Cespedes. And
Cespedes. Yeah, okay.
Reddick
and then Reddick was a walk. Okay. So, the Oakland A's are out of it. That makes the ALCS, which is the American League Champion Series, Boston Red Sox versus Detroit. The National League pennant race will be the Dodgers versus the St. Louis Cardinals, who beat my Pittsburgh Pirates. And that will be that for the
Is
Pirates.
anybody else in the baseball world depressed
That's
right
just,
now? I mean,
there's no hope.
I'm
for
so
Pittsburgh
tired
now.
of seeing Detroit.
I think the only refreshing team is the Dodgers,
and that's not even that refreshing.
I know
because it's a traditional baseball team that's been there and won World Series before.
Okay, so we got the pennant races decided. Who are you rooting for now? Both of our teams. We picked Oakland versus Pittsburgh, and that didn't happen. One thing I wanted to say is that both Pittsburgh and Oakland in their Game 5 started rookie pitchers who did quite well. Both of them. Both of them gave up 2-run home runs that pretty much decided the game early. Cole gave up a 2-run homer, and
Sonny Gray. I mean, it's easy to say that Game 2 was kind of a fluke, and he was just attacking with the fastball, and they just didn't know what was coming.
Yeah. So, who are you picking?
I like Boston.
I like St. Louis.
I like Boston only because not because I think they're going to win, because I want them to win. Just because Jake Peavy hasn't won a ring. And I think he deserves one.
And they hit the ball all over the park.
I mean, you got Pedroia,
I root for Pedroia, yeah.
Jacoby Ellsbury.
Yeah, well.
I mean, come on, you got to give Jacoby Ellsbury some credit. Come on now.
Shane Victorino. One thing that I like about St. Louis is that, again, the hometown kid, David Freese, hits a 2-run shot in the Game 5. That man in
yeah, why don't you tell them?
I
called David Freese a couple years ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago we were watching and Tony called the Freeze walk-off.
He was like a rookie that
rookie. Hometown kid, man. So I root for Freeze. Mark Matheny, their coach. You know, St. Louis is a stalwart in the playoffs. They do it every year. But enough of Major League Baseball. We got some NCAA football matchups going on this weekend. Today, Tony Bridgewater had a mediocre day. Teddy Bridgewater.
Every week it's
every
week
it's
Teddy Bridgewater.
He was 21 for 31. He had 310 passing yards, but he had 2 TDs, 1 interception. He only had 11 rushing yards. It was an average outing, and his defense kind of saved him. They were a 29-point favorite, and they only won 24-10 against Rutgers. So the defense kind of helped him out. They, the numbers look pretty good, but they're average for
football.
him.
It's a rival game. You know, when you play those in-conference opponents like that, you can't expect to be a blowout.
Big East, remember?
Oh, whatever it is.
Plays for the ACC now. It was a Big East rivalry.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, some other notable matchups. You got the Red River rivalry this weekend.
Say that.
The Red River rivalry, yes. You can't do it 5 times fast. Oklahoma versus Texas. Mac Brown's Texas team is just reeling. Heisman watch, we got Taj Boyd, Clemson versus BC, which should be a walkover game. We'll look at his stats in the next show.
Alabama versus Kentucky.
Yeah, that should be another A.J. McCarron inflator. Although Kentucky has a potent offense, defensively they're nowhere near it. Northwestern, number 19, versus Wisconsin. That's a good Big Ten matchup. Michigan State also plays Penn State. That's upset alert right there. Penn State plays tough football, especially in
they're not that bad.
Wherever they play.
I'm like an Ole Miss to upset A&M.
Yeah, hey. Ole Miss has got a defense.
If I had to pick an upset for a ranked team, that would be my upset pick. I don't think Washington's going to come close to Oregon.
Yeah, speaking of teams, the upsets, I'm talking about teams that are going to fall out. You got 17, Florida versus LSU. I think LSU puts a whooping on them. Florida no longer has a quarterback. I think Florida and Washington, 16 and 17, probably drop either to 24, 25, or completely out of the rankings. Georgia plays Mizzo, Mizzo's number 25, Georgia's number 7, so Mizzo's probably going to be out of the rankings after they lose.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Stanford versus Utah. Stanford's trying to continue their push for the BCS National Championship game.
Question for me is, Does Mac Brown make it out of this week if Oklahoma crushes Texas?
You know, they got a lot of boosters in Texas.
Probably not, in my opinion.
I
think he's gone.
I don't know, man. He's been a.
I don't think he's gone. Stanford's playing Utah.
College football isn't so much as a "what have you done for me lately" so much anymore. It still is kind of, but
a little bit.
With these older schools, not so much. I mean, if Nick Saban had 4 bad years, they're not going to get rid of that guy. Les Miles could have a couple bad years. Not going to. Now, would those guys leave to another school? Probably, but Mac Brown has been at Texas forever. Also, UNLV versus Hawaii. They're trying to break my projected win total versus a reeling Hawaii team.
Yeah, their defense looks bad right now.
Yeah,
They're just giving up points left and right. And if Tim Cornette can run the ball, open up the passing game for Caleb Herring, they're going to be just fine.
Yeah, them 4 wins, and Houck might save his job.
He might. You get him in a I don't know, Teddy's.com bowl or something like that. They'll get some money, and he'll be there.
If they win this week, they've already surprised me.
Problem is, man, you have nowhere to turn after this year. Caleb Herring is gone.
No, yeah. Definitely.
So what do you do? You let Nick Sherry play quarterback?
No,
I don't think so.
No.
I don't
Move him
think
to wide
so.
receiver. Moving on, we got some NFL matchups this weekend.
Man,
some
you didn't
key
even
ones.
talk about my Northern Illinois team.
Well, Northern Illinois, they're playing Akron, dude.
So
Akron
almost beat Michigan.
Yeah, that was a fluke. Okay,
Northern Illinois
they had the
beat
ball
Michigan.
on the 4th. They had the 4th
Undefeated Northern Illinois.
Yeah, whatever.
Number 23
We'll talk
in the
about
rankings.
Jordan Lynch's numbers.
You want to talk about ranked teams? We got all these ranked teams talking about Northern Illinois is ranked number 23.
Yeah,
I don't see them on this list.
Yeah, they're not on the list for the reason is we'll talk about Jordan Lynch's numbers after they win. I don't expect Akron to. I think Akron's season, the morale went out the window. And they were 4th and 4 on the goal line to upset Michigan, or 1st and 4, and they couldn't even punch it in.
I had a couple of friends from Akron, and they don't say Akron, they say Akron.
Okay, so it's Akron, and as far as I'm concerned, it's
just like it's how you saying it? Ndamukong Suh's name?
Ndamukong Suh.
Ndamukong Suh.
That's his name.
Yeah, okay.
Moving on, the NFL matchups this weekend. I got my own 4 Steelers versus the Jets. Not looking pretty.
Smith is going to light y'all up. Watch.
Not looking pretty. Cincinnati versus Buffalo. Cincinnati, 3-2. Though I highlighted a couple of these matchups. Cincinnati's 3-2.
They're so iffy. One game they come out looking like they're going to win a Super Bowl, and the next game they come out just looking terrible.
Detroit versus Cleveland's going to be a good matchup. So it's Green
really
Bay versus Baltimore. Well,
without Hoyer, it's over.
Well, I know, but I'm saying
Brandon Weeden is at the helm now.
Hey, they drafted that guy.
They have Jason Campbell. I want to see Jason Campbell play.
If the good Brandon Weeden plays, then
I haven't seen
right.
a good Brandon Weeden.
Well, he was all right in relief for Hoyer.
I saw him at Oklahoma State.
Yeah. I highlighted these games. I highlighted these games because Baltimore's 3-2, Cincinnati's 3-2, and Cleveland's 3-2, and so who's going to have first place in the division as well as Green Bay and Detroit are fighting for the division with Chicago Bears, who by the way won tonight.
27-21 Chicago
against the Giants. In
3
fact,
picks.
Eli had 3 picks, 1 for a pick 'em 6. They actually had a chance to win the game. A couple of bad turnovers.
Yeah.
Although there was a call in that game that probably would have made it a blowout with the Ruben Randall call. Not only did he give himself up, but he was touched. He basically slammed the ball because he had a touchdown, and it should have been a Chicago turnover. But the NFL. They want to make sure that the game is not.
It's got to be close, especially Thursday night.
Yeah, Thursday night. Yeah, exactly.
Who's your upset pick of the week?
My upset pick of the week is going to be Arizona over San Francisco. I think it's going to be a close game, but Arizona's 3-2. San Francisco's 3-2. I got to pick that as.
I think I'm going to take the 28 points and go with Jacksonville.
Yeah. Speaking of which, the first time in history that NFL team is favored by 28 points. And this is funny because Jacksonville's come out and said we're not going to lay down. We're going to rise up to challenge. I think Jacksonville's faking the funk.
Faking the funk.
Faking the funk? Oh, kind of like your girlfriend when she says she has a headache.
Caught me on that one.
How are you going to say you're not going to roll over? It's Denver. They're going to... I honestly think it's going to be a 30-3 game, and it's going to be a 27-point, and they're not going to cover the spread.
Let's move on away from that, because that game is just going to be an absolute romping. How bad do you feel for Matt Flynn right now?
Oh, man, he got cut? Oh, dude. That's the worst. The worst thing about it is, okay, this is bad. Okay, you got all this big contract from Seattle, right? Then you go to Oakland. You get another decent contract, right? And then Oakland's got Terrell Pryor. He does pretty well. And then they're going out and they're trying to get Josh Freeman, who, by the way, signed with the Vikings. And they basically said, oh, well, we didn't get Freeman. Bye, Matt Flynn. They were going to cut him either way.
Has in the NFL.
He's the only Green Bay Packer to throw for 6 touchdowns in a game. Only Green Bay Packer.
Not even Brett Favre.
Not even Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers.
This guy started 2 NFL games, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe even 1. No, 2 because of the Green Bay one. He's made $15 million guaranteed.
Jamarcus Russell's got his pager number. Oh, wait.
Speaking of which, that's my upset pick of the week. Terrell Pryor running over KC.
Oh, I got KC going undefeated this weekend. New England versus New Orleans is going to be a good matchup, although I think New Orleans is going to expose New England for their lack of offense, that defense stepping up. Carolina versus Minnesota. Carolina pretty much got their butts handed to them by Arizona last week, and I think Minnesota and Matt Castle does the same. Carolina, I thought their defense was good, but they've got a bunch of defensive tackle injuries.
Seattle to 12 points.
That was in the beginning of the year.
That had to be a fluke because they haven't done much since.
No, speaking of Seattle, they played Tennessee. It would have been Jake Locker's return to Washington, but he's hurt, so it's going to be Ryan Fitzpatrick, the smartest QB to throw multiple interceptions in the game. Speaking of multiple interceptions in the game, I'm picking Matt Schaub to throw another pick 6 versus St. Louis. That might be my upset of the week.
St. Louis?
St. Louis.
That's not an upset anymore. They're both 2 and 3.
Well, I'm just saying, St. Louis, I
think Baltimore's going to beat Green Bay. I think that's going to be an upset in Baltimore. I think Washington has no shot against Dallas.
Speaking of Washington and Dallas, there's an Indian tribe that's going to run an anti-Redskin ad in the game. I'm all in for changing their name because it's racist and it's offensive to people.
I don't believe that at all.
Well, it's unfortunately you're not American Indian, so you don't have that opinion. And I think that if there was a name that was racist for any other ethnicity in the United States, it would be changed in a heartbeat. But unfortunately, American Indians get no respect. And Dan Snyder said he'll never change it. I guarantee you, if this bottom line changes, people start boycotting the games. My point is,
I saw some pretty cool alternate uniforms of like the Washington Renegades or the Washington Warriors. I saw them on Yahoo. There were some pretty cool alternate uniforms.
I mean, the fans are going to support the team regardless of the name. The point is you can't.
You can call them Powder Puffs. They're still going to go to the game.
We don't live in a society where you can have an offensive name. I mean, you look at the Atlanta Braves. That's honoring Indian tradition of the Brave Warriors. Cleveland Indians is not really offensive because they're called the tribe, so it's their logo is not offensive or anything. But the Redskins, that is a derogatory term towards American Indians. So look for the ad that'll be playing. That's Sunday Night Football, and then Monday Night Football is Indianapolis 4-1 versus San Diego.
I like it.
I think Andrew Luck. That was a great draft pick.
Hey man,
great draft pick.
I don't like him, but it was a good draft pick. He'll be there for a long time. He's a franchise quarterback.
Speaking of which, Ahmad Bradshaw out for the year, so now Trent Richardson gets talk about a trade for the ages.
Yeah, I think
San Diego. Vic Ballard, now Ahmad Bradshaw. Now they got a number 1 draft pick as their running back. So
I think San Diego holds in though. I think it's gonna be a really good game. If San Diego doesn't win, it's gonna be really close, in my opinion. So I mean,
well, the funny thing is Dwight Freeney is injured, so he doesn't get to play versus Indianapolis, his former team. Yeah. Falcons has signed Ohio State Brian Robisky to replace Julio Jones. That's a big drop off in talent.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Big. Julio Jones out for the year. I think what Atlanta's done is said our season's over. We're going to protect all our stars.
Ohio State breeds little mini Wes Welkers. They just come
Ted
out of there
Ginn
like
Jr.
No, like the little white slot receivers, like Dane Sausenbacher.
Oh yeah,
Brian Robisky. I've seen like
Ted
5 or
Ginn
6
was
of
the
these
slot,
guys.
but he's not.
Yeah, he's not a little white guy. So I mean, Julio Jones. I mean, as if they didn't have injury problems enough.
Yeah, I called that draft pick, by the way.
Which one?
The Julio Jones. I called it. I was at the casino, and everyone's like, "Oh, who's Cleveland going to take?" I'm like, "They're trading that pick to Atlanta, and they're drafting Julio Jones." Like 2 minutes later, or actually, less than a minute later. Yeah, Cleveland.
Whole lot of nothing.
A whole lot of nothing. That was the Eric Mangini days. They didn't do anything during those times. Last bit of NFL news I want to talk about before we close the segment out is the LA Council has a firm support for an NFL team, which is great for LA, but it's still a bonehead move in the NFL. How do you have the nation's second largest market without a football team yet? That's just beyond me.
Because they don't have a stadium that people want to go to. You don't want to go see a football team in the LA Coliseum.
Why not? People go to the Rose Bowl and all that.
It's college.
I'm saying.
It's once a year.
Hey, the St. Louis Rams used to play there. The Oakland Raiders used to play there.
Hey, everything that has tradition in all sports gets renovated.
Yep.
They don't renovate the Coliseum.
No, you can't. It's like built by the Romans.
Okay,
it's called the Coliseum.
I'm just saying, like, even Wrigley Field's getting renovated this year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Boston got renovated. Fenway Park a long time ago when they put in the seats on top of the.
You know what I say the NFL does?
The monster.
I say the NFL puts an expansion team in 2017, 2018, and they make the Redskins change their name. We get 2 new franchises at once. Make them change their name.
The NFL has enough mediocrity as it is with teams like the Giants right now. Teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars. They haven't been mediocre like forever, but I mean the Jaguars have been.
Oh, the Jaguars, the ugliest uniforms.
That is like one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
The gold helmet. No, the gold helmet.
The helmet's cool. It's like a sunburst gold.
No, that's the only cool part.
Yeah, I like it.
It's the only cool part.
It's the stupidest uniform I've ever seen. The Seattle Seahawks. I'm sorry.
No, the Seahawks. That's awesome.
Lime green.
That's awesome.
You can't put lime green.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Their uniforms rock. Next thing you know, you're gonna have like bird feathers and holographics like the Oregon team. Seattle's uniform is tight.
Seattle's terrible.
No.
Okay, your Bumblebee uniforms you think are awesome.
Those are awesome.
No,
dude.
those are the
awesome.
worst, ugliest uniforms in the history of football.
No, the ugliest uniforms in the history of football are the Philadelphia Eagles when they play with the yellow and baby blue. That is horrible. Okay,
that's pretty bad.
So you can retract your previous statement about my Bumblebee costume.
How about didn't the Jets have one like that too? The Jets had it really bad with the circle with the number in the helmet, and it was really bright.
No, what about the Denver Broncos with the brown and yellow?
That's not that bad.
That is horrible. Dude, those are ugly colors. Yeah, the Jets had it. Yeah, they were the Titans. Someone needs to adopt the navy blue and yellow. They were back when they were the New York Titans.
Someone needs to adopt the USC colors in the NFL. Because those are freaking cool uniforms.
The Washington Redskins have the
that's
racist.
That's different. That's different because they don't wear like the bright yellow pants anymore. That's like old school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I like their yellow helmets with the red R.
Yeah, the red R.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Or they used to have like the Florida State Seminole thing too. With the spear.
The spear, I like that too. But you got to change all that Indian terminology. You got to go the Renegades, the Warriors, something. Why don't you just call them the Capitals?
You know what? Everybody with an Indian name. If the Redskins get changed, everybody with an Indian name, they're going to go after everybody.
What other ones are offensive?
None. The Blackhawks aren't offensive. The Indians aren't offensive. I'm just saying
they're just going
to feel now that they shouldn't even be team names.
I disagree.
Because it has nothing to do with the Native American.
Chicago Blackhawks, the Blackhawk tribe, was in Illinois for a long time.
But that's not the reason why they're the.
I know that's not the reason. But Redskins is an offensive term. It's an offensive term. I got you,
but there's no Indians in Cleveland.
There were Indians.
I'm just saying, man.
At one time, I mean the Braves.
Show me the reservation in Cleveland.
There are none. They were all moved to Oklahoma at one point. They were all
Show me them Braves that are in Atlanta.
They were the Milwaukee Braves.
Okay. Milwaukee. I got you.
Yeah, exactly.
I got you.
Exactly.
Thanks for watching segment 1 of Smacktalk.
I'm Shawn Adams.
Tony Gaglione.
Stay tuned for segment 2.
That's ridiculous.